more people to jump in and we'll start, and also wait for our main presenter, Tom Freedman. Hey, Tom. Oops. Oh, you're mute, buddy.
We just lost internet, so hopefully it will pop
Oh.
back up here. It'll pop
No.
back up here in a second. But I'm going to use this just in the interim while it goes back on.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
By the way, we send you the Zoom background, so maybe you can use something like this too.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Well, I am ready when you are. I can't probably get the background since I'm on my phone right now, but I'm ready when you are.
Yes, I think we can start. All right. I think we can start, Tom.
Okay. Well, hello everyone, and thank you so much for coming to the event today. I'm actually going to be switching back over right now. We lost internet in the office for just a second, so I'm going to try to jump back on if we could. And just bear with me for 1 second while I jump back on this one. John, let's see if it actually transfers over, if you can let me back in here.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, we did it. We've traversed a one technology issue that will start us out today. So thank you all for coming today. John and I were super excited to start Pipeline Masters. This is actually the first session of Pipeline Masters, and appreciate everybody jumping in. The whole purpose of Pipeline Masters is to set up what we call the MP4 model for everybody that applies to startups, solos, and micropreneurs. Everybody looking to make approximately their first $1 million to $3 million. Over 26 years of research, we find what works and what doesn't work. And the entire purpose of this particular meeting and all meetings moving forward is to tell you the exact things necessary to make that $1 to $3 million and have a fully growth-oriented as well as scalable business to move forward without you pulling out your hair and finding out that you're working 80 hours a week. Currently, statistics look like this. 96% of all solos, micros, especially in the consulting or fractional or coaching space, 96% of them never reach $250,000 themselves. Out of that statistic, 87% rarely make for themselves over about $150,000 on a normal basis. And the reasons for this are typically all based on each one of these pillars that we will go over. Again, the MP4 model looks like this. First one is modeling, that's the M. The second P is positioning, which we'll talk about in a bit here, but that's really coming down to like what your solution engineering looks like, what your target audience looks like, as well as your messaging. The P after that is really diving into the performance tools that are necessary for you to continue this business, making yourself small but mighty. We'll drive into how to develop your entire pipeline. And the last one is power strategies, so that when you actually do make your first 500,000 or so, you can leverage that into whatever the business you want to make. So without further ado, I want to jump in to today's topic and really go through what is called modeling.
Recording in progress.
Before we get a jump on it, I do want to make sure that everybody does a couple different things. Number one, if you haven't updated your name and business, hit the three dots on the right-hand side, update your name with your business. On the chat side, if you could go ahead and put your basic information, don't try to sell us anything. It's okay. You're not going to make any sales today, most likely. Just put your basic name, your company name, and best way to contact you so that we can get a follow-up, and anybody on this particular list, if it makes sense to make engagements after this for anybody on the call, please do that. We will be here to support you. Just FYI, John is here. A lot of you know John. John is always here to help whenever you'd like. And we also have Lena, who is helping us out with making sure communications are up, tech actually works, and any questions are answered for now or follow-up. So to get things started, let's go ahead and, if we could, Joe, could you just give us like a quick synopsis of who you are and what you do real fast?
Oh, you're calling me out.
Yes, please, Joe. Just real fast, 30 seconds of like who you are, what you do. Not an elevator pitch. Again, we're not just trying to sell. Just tell
don't
us
sell.
like again, like what you do
I
and
don't
your
sell.
business. Yeah.
But Leo Global Digital Solutions, and I'm based here in the States in Tampa, Florida. Been here 30 years, but the business has been around actually over 25 years. And we just help small businesses and modernize their technology, marketing, automation, so they can go faster and operate more efficiently. How's that for a pitch without selling?
I love that. That's perfect. Dave Rodriguez, can I get you to go real fast?
Oops,
You're on mute.
Not anymore, but
There you go.
you know what? Dave Rodriguez here, integrating AI into businesses to be able to help eliminate and recoup time, actually eliminate excess waste of time and recuperate the most important valued product out there, which is time.
Awesome. Scott, can I get you to go next?
Certainly, and thank you for having me. Scott Rosenblum, excuse me, president and founder of Level PR, a niche public relations agency that works exclusively with tech startups to help raise their brand awareness through positive publicity efforts and tactics.
Love it. Gabe, can I get you to go?
Sure. Gabe O'Neill, I'm the godfather of the video business card. I've built 3 disruptive products that help people capture leads, follow up with them, and track them.
Perfect. Fred?
Good morning, everyone. Fred Costa, NSC Information Technology Group. We're a 26-year-old managed services provider here in Houston, Texas. Thank you.
Perfect. Randy?
Hi, I'm Randy Factor, Factor Business Services. I work with solo, micro, and small service and trade businesses where growth has created instability in revenue, profit, and cash flow.
Perfect. Sebastian?
Hi, good morning. My name is Sebastian Kaupert. Thanks for having me. And I work mostly with startups, helping them develop their brand strategy and often by extension, their first visual identity and concept cars for their products. My background is in design.
Oh, thanks a lot, Sebastian. Eric? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I'm Eric on EJP Media. I've been around for about 6 years now. We help agents market their listings and moving into helping agents market themselves and other businesses that circle around the real estate industry.
Excellent. Thank you. Jeremy?
Jeremy Roadruck, Orlando based as of now, and I do marriage and mindset, divorce proofing stuff quickly, easily, often guaranteed, and usually a tax write-off for business professionals. So free.
All right. Perfect. Love it. Lion?
Yes, Lion Flood, and I teach companies how to run virtual meetings that are engaging and smooth.
Awesome. Love it. John?
Hi everyone, my name is John Avier, founder of FlexiWork Services. We are a marketing agency that helps with branding, marketing, and automations.
All right. And last but not least, myself, I've got Define Enterprises. More or less, we help small businesses grow no matter what. They are startup solo all the way through mature small businesses in a process that we can provide resources for whatever you need, whenever you need. So let's get this thing cranking today. Let's start with our first thing in this MP4 model, which is modeling. Modeling is nothing more than a numerical representation of your strategies to get your company to drive revenue, profit, or cash flow the way you see it. Unfortunately, since most people never ever get past earning $250,000 or more personally from their solo or micro shop, the number one reason for that is that they either don't have a model or they have a model that is very difficult to get beyond that to begin with. So first of all, just a quick show of hands or anything like that. Does anyone actually have like a model that they put together for their business currently, and is it updated? Any show of hands of yes or no? Okay. Most folks that we meet, they go through a general idea of what they want their company to look like, but very few of them have a working financial model that shows and can be actually calibrated as it goes along to hit your end goal. So think of it this way. The easiest way to look at this is reverse engineering. I'm going to just put this out here as just a normal show of hands. Personally, not the company wise, but who wants to is looking to make, let's say, for themselves $250,000 a year right now? Just show of hands, just like what's that? Is that the next goal to hit right now is 250? Personally, not company wise. How about show of hands real fast for 500,000, 500,000? Anybody really want to get to that category? Okay, 750. And last but not least, 1 million. Okay, phenomenal. Okay, now let's take a step back for this. Let's look at the modeling again for where you guys are, no matter if you want to hit the 250, the 500, 750, or $1 million. Does anybody actually have a numerical plan that allows them to do two things? Make the money that they want, but keep their utilization rate at 80% or lower than that. Meaning that they actually still have 20% left of a 40-hour work week to provide in other things that the business requires, such as pipeline development. Any ideas on this? Anybody got those models? All right, phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and actually share a screen with you real fast, and we're going to do a follow-up on a simple model that I want you guys to actually go through that we use for a lot of our clients just for looking at whether or not you're even on track. Does everybody see this? Okay, fantastic. Can everybody read it okay?
I think
All
you
right,
have
great.
you have to make it larger, Tom.
You had to
Okay,
zoom a
I'm
little
going to see
more
if
or
I can actually,
enlarge somehow if you can zoom.
yeah, for sure. I'm going to see if I can actually
Lower right
zoom
corner, you
this
can
in.
actually zoom in. Lower right corner.
Lower right corner, yes.
Oh, you're hiding it real fast. There we go. Okay, great. How about now?
You got it
Better.
now, man. Good.
All right.
Technicalities again.
Good. We're taking an eye test today too. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Look at these. Look at these things right over here in just the basic yellow with the purple font. These are things that you can change. Everything else I've actually put into a formulaic like cell, right? So like this is the thing that's just going to inputs versus outputs. You with me? So like let's look at a couple different things and say like we want to make, let's say for the folks that want to make $250,000 recurring revenue versus AGP is annual, right? Annual gross profit, right? So like this is what you get a chance to keep. We're not talking about Uncle Sam. I'm not your tax attorney here, but like this is what you kind of keep like operationally. This is what you make, right? So let's look at a couple different things. For most solo and micropreneurs, the first thing that you need to go through is how many new clients do you need, net new clients do you need to hit that money that you really want, right? The second thing is let's look at like what we're selling per client per month to be able to do this. Or if it's a project, for instance, you can annualize it. In other words, I sell something, you just divide by 12 and that would give you like your average MRR model. And then we're going to look at your average cost and your client load. So let's look at these things individually. To make $250,000, which is right over here, this is $240,000 for annual revenue, right? This would require you to sell 10 new clients at $2,000, right? If you had that about that average, you're going to hit about another 240,000. Your client load over here, let's look at this really fast. The client load says this: how many hours, right, am I required to spend with this client to make that happen? So this, you're saying a client load of 2.5 hours, for instance, right, per month. If this is like what your client load would be, you're at a utilization rate of 63%, which means that you're actually making about $250,000 here and have approximately, right, 37% left over to do even more impact to your portfolio. Let's look at a couple different numbers real fast and see how this changes. What if I was selling at an average of $1,000? Now, this is what I make. This is your utilization rate. We can play with this. Let's say we needed 3 hours, something like that, right? It allows you to see what your utilization rate is all the way across the board. But here's where most people run into issues. Let's look at the basic fractional model. Do we have any fractional CFOs or COOs, CEOs, anything like that on this call? I know Randy's one of them, right? Let's look at the big problem that fractional models go with. They actually sell most of their time and trade time for money. They typically build their portfolio off of about 4 or 5 clients and sell for high dollar rates. And they do 5,000, something like that. And each one of their clients, they spend, approximately, let's say, 4 hours a week, something like that for that. So that would be like, let's say, a 20-hour. Look at your utilization rate. You don't have anything left. You're already stacked up and you only make 240K like as an end result. So the problem with that is twofold. Number one, you're already pressed over your utilization rate, meaning you're working most likely over 40 hours a week to conduct your business. And what happens if that's the case is there's no time for pipeline development. So let's say you lose 1 or 2 clients, then your money goes from this to, let's say, losing 2 clients to that. It takes approximately 90 to 180 days to get a new client, if that's the case, to replace it, in which you'd be spending a boatload of time going to networking calls, taking a bunch of discovery calls to land that client, working approximately 60 to 80-hour weeks while you're doing that just to land the client, only to find out that you get those other 2 clients, bring it back to 4, and you're right back where you started off. There is no room for growth here, and constantly you're on this chopping block for losing anywhere between half to 25% of your portfolio at any given time. I'm going to pause for just a second real fast. Let's talk about a couple different things. Joe, based off of your model now, how many clients do you need at any given time to hit your goal? Just out of curiosity.
I guess I have to follow up with a question regarding, is that per week or per month or per year you're looking at as far as the average?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think you
Volume depends on timing, if it's per day, per week, or per month. And then that will actually define the actual value itself versus per case as far as cost, which does vary in my case for the clients we have, depending on what we're actually dealing with.
Makes sense. So you have a lot of variables when it comes down to your client acquisitions.
Accurately,
correct?
yes, because the all-in-one is roughly, we do charge a 3-month primary, which is about the 5,000 or a little higher than that, but that's an all-inclusive package, the highest one we've got. Yeah.
Okay. So for an average client right now for you, Joe, like let's say if you cut most of it out and just said, like, if I just sold this particular package, one package, and I could do that for the rest of my life, what would be your ideal package that you would sell? Not the elephant in the room. I mean, just like
No,
a
you're
good
talking about the real
conservative.
side itself, which I get. My damn camera just freaked out on me. You still hear me though, right?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I got distracted by my damn camera. The question that you gave me was as far as the ideal client, the ICP, and cost.
Yeah, ICP, like what is the revenue? Like when you sell a new ideal client, what does it look like?
Usually, on the average, is going to be like 1850, where they're going to be all in for everything that we do.
1850. And
Yeah.
is that per month?
Yes.
1850. Right there. Is that what you're saying right there?
Accurately so. Yeah, because that's the subscription part itself, correct? And they're paying that monthly.
Okay, Roger that. To manage an 1850 client, how much time do you have to spend with them?
The least amount, the better, to be honest, where they're almost self-reliant, but we do have to coach them, of course, give them some guidance, especially on the back end sides of their own clientele management, which would be the CRM, as well as managing their team, should they have one, which we anticipate they would, as well as the invoicing will come from our server that they actually charge their clients, whatever they're selling, could be a service, product, or information. So averaging, I'd say, yeah, it would be about under 4 hours. Just do a small walkthrough until they actually feel the confidence, strength, and ability to be completely without needing supervision, if you will. They're self-reliant to manage themselves, but we're still available for 24-hour support. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. Just give me a roundabout, like for per week, like how much
it would
time.
be, I'd say 20 hours, because it depends on how many clients per week as well. But we got to be attentive to their time as well and schedule it.
So it takes you or your team 20 hours of your time to service an 1850 client?
Right. Until they become self-reliant, because we're just managing the rest in the back end, yet they're paying for what we offer, the solution we give them as they grow.
Okay. Let me make sure that I'm hearing this correctly. That you're giving like this is per week of how many hours that your team dedicates to a client.
Accurately, yes. It will lower down as time goes when they start to really work on their own in a sense, but still under our umbrella. So we'll lower.
Tom,
Okay.
Yeah, it's the initial part, right?
Eric here. I'm thinking what I'm listening to how you're doing this, Tom, and how Joe does it. I think the number you're looking for here is over a 12-month period. How much a month average did they spend? So it might be front loaded. Maybe I'm hearing from Joe that his numbers are front loaded. Maybe the first month or 2 months are high, but over 12 months the monthly average
It will
would be
diminish.
lower.
Thank you, Eric. That's accurate.
Yes.
It will diminish and lower down because they're going to be more comfortable. That's correct.
Makes complete sense. So let's look at this and your client load here for this, Joe. Are you putting it to other people on your team to be able to do this? Is that what you're doing?
We do assign designated skills in accordance to what their passions are or strengths. So yes, we will be delegating according to skills themselves. So that way, whatever area it covers is being taken care of at that point.
Okay, fantastic. Let's make it even easier then. You, Joe, how much time do you actually put to your client per week?
Average, I'd say per client, maybe 4 to 8 hours, 4 to 8. That is, gotta say that slower. Because I might have a
Okay.
handful of clients, like 5 or 6, maybe in a week, but I had to schedule them out. So that way I can balance myself and not oversaturate my brain.
Okay. So per client, are you meeting with your clients weekly, let's say for an hour? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that'd be about accurate. Yeah, that way it gives me some balance and gives them a chance also to try things out. And if they have an issue, they just reach back out. It could be by phone or like this virtual, depending on what they need.
Okay, got it. So let's look at this real fast. Currently, like let's say, what is you are you looking for like another 250,000 on top of what you're already doing?
Actually, my goal is even much more aggressive. I'm near 500,000 to not to actually even 7 figure of a million, to be honest. I
That's
mean,
quite all right.
it's kind of
Let's
modest, you know what I mean, at the quarter mil.
100%. So let's look at this real quick. Let's look at want to do just some basic mathematics on this real fast. Let's look at we're going to take 50. There's your
Thank you. Now you're
let's look.
talking more realistic.
Okay, let's get this something close to what you're looking for. Are these numbers down here? Is that closer to what you're looking for?
For initial side, yeah, but I got a longer term goal that this company is go bigger and bigger and bigger as it expands and
No, that's okay.
even going global. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're just looking at it for everybody to
No, I
like use
understand.
this
I
as
follow
a
you.
work case right now. That like right now for Joe, and I want this to apply to everybody, that you should have a working model that you can always punch in to find out like where you want to go and where you're at currently, right?
Agreed.
And this is just a simplistic model, but you don't want something complicated. Just something that like you can always use as a dashboard constantly as your North Star saying like, where am I today? Where do I want to go? And am I on track? Right now, if we look at Joe's, we'll just use this as an example, right?
Yeah.
That he wants about 30 new clients, averaging about 1850 a month. Let's say we're not even going to go over his costs right now, but Joe, how much costs, just FYI, just rough figure, go into like actually like
That's a hard figure to
supporting the
answer, to be honest with you, Tom, because that figure right now is premature at this point. But I'll stick with a 10%, to be honest, because it might be maybe 15, but I'm not sure yet
okay.
until we do the math on it. That's a good question.
Okay. No problem. So, like, we'll stay with these figures real quick and look at his utilization rate right now. So, we're getting close to our 80% mark, which
Mhm.
means that he would be tapped out because the rest of the 20% would actually have to be working on his business or like driving pipeline development. Once he goes over 80%, it doesn't make a difference. Joe's locked down with his client acquisition and he is non existent in growing his business. In fact, all he's doing is actually waiting for these clients to actually cancel, drop it low enough to actually force him back into pipeline development to catch back up again. Does that make sense? But let's be honest with this right now. This is not bad money for Joe. Like, if he's able to accomplish this, you know what I mean? You're making 600K, not a bad life right here, right?
Good start for the year, I'd say, right?
Without a doubt. Now, let's find out what Joe needs to do to get these 30 clients, which is where the 20% comes from for the utilization rate on pipeline development, and see if that's even feasible. So let's look at some basic numbers down here on pipeline development and see if this is even feasible. We're going to say an end-to-end right now, Joe, conversion rate
Yeah.
of saying that leads or conversations that you have. In other words, talking to other people in like your target audience, right? Does that make sense? Joe, meet Bob. Bob, I'm not sure if Joe can help you, but Joe, like, do the thing, right? Like, let's just have that conversation. That approximately, we'll look at like 7% right now, that about 1 out of 15 people say yes, sign up with you end to end, and actually pay you the 1850.
And that's
Does that
realistic, to
make
be
sense?
honest. That's realistic in my position, to be honest, because I talk to a lot of people. And it is about that
Yeah.
average 10 to 15. I might get one yes out of it. I'm like, oh, got you down one ICP. Rock on, go forward. Next.
100%. In fact, most people that I talk to, Joe, is typically between anywhere between 5%
Yep.
and like between 5% and about 15% until like you actually develop a full-fledged pipeline, which we're going to show you guys how to do to get this bad boy up to about 25 to 30%, which will knock down pipeline development dramatically, right? But in the beginning, most people are around 5 to 7%. Now, let's talk this thing through for Joe, right? If Joe, over the course of a year, wants 30 new clients, he will have to bring in approximately 429 conversations or leads, whatever you want to call them, right? 429. That means 36 per month, or he needs a pipeline engine that drives him 8 actual conversations with his target audience per week.
Why does I feel like I'm being a slacker in those numbers, man? Because I would be thinking higher numbers on the conversations per year, to be honest. I would be able to surpass the 429 easily in a year.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's talk about that. Let's look at, and we're going to bring somebody else in just in here in a second, because Joe, I really appreciate you participating with this, but I want this to lock down because modeling is absolutely essential for you guys to hit your goals, right?
Agreed.
The first one is this. Next week, Joe, like you don't even have to answer if you don't want to, but next week, and I want everybody to think of this, look at your calendar or think about your calendar and say, do I have 8 people on the calendar for next week that are in my target audience in a contextual introduction or a referral or an actual qualified lead? Do you have 8 next week?
I'm embarrassed to say no.
Don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed, because I think I honestly have met maybe about 5% that whatever this number is, given the circumstances of each individual, whether that's 4, 8, 12, 100, I don't know what it is depending on the company. I've met very few people that have been able to sustain this number, again, whatever it is, over the course of a year. So like you saying no, you're probably part of, like, let's say the 96%, not the unique 4.
I don't like that idea in my head. That just poisons the direction of the ambition I've got. But thanks for pointing this out, because it gives me a reality check.
No worries. Jeremy, may I ask you to jump in with us?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's rock and roll. Give me rough numbers, even if they're not even accurate. New clients for you, brother. How many would
Yeah,
you
basically
need?
6,
6. What's the average MRR?
3,500.
3,500. Cost of sale, anything that goes into it outside of like your basic, like,
Just my time.
CRM and like that kind of, just your time. So we're just going
just my
to
time.
be conservative and say 5% for the little stupid things that you have to pay for, right?
Mhm.
The client load, how many hours a week are you spending with your clients at 3,500?
Hour.
Hour. Okay.
Mhm.
Look at Jeremy's utilization rate. He's at 15%, still has 85% left over to grow his business. Right over here, this is the numbers in month terms for revenue and profit. Here's year terms trending for Jeremy. In order to get 6 new clients, even at a 7%, Jeremy would need 2 people to talk to in his target audience with contextual introductions, qualified leads, or referrals in order to get that goal. So if Jeremy doesn't see on his calendar 2 legit referrals, contextual introductions, or qualified leads, he's going to need adjustments to his pipeline development. Other than that, if he stays the course here, you should be able to see in a year's time these numbers, right? What if we don't want to wait a year? Well, take this.
Lost you for a second, Tom.
I
Or
think
is
the
it just
internet
me?
might have had a problem. No, Jeremy, we
I
can
see
hear
everybody
you.
else moving. I see heads. I see heads. I see
Yeah,
heads.
yeah.
Yeah, the two ways to do it basically is take the week number and stack that higher, or take the monthly recurring per client and boost that up. I've got a 30K offer that I'm putting together for higher net individuals. So that'll obviously a 30K offer at the same rate will 10x my everythings, which now I'm sitting at a $2.5 million business. I would take the conversion rate though lower to probably like 2 to 3.5%, just because the stuff I'm getting into with people is messy, murky, and complicated, and a
I was gonna
lot of
say
fear
it
and a lot of
probably is
doubt.
because yours does definitely differ from mine, but I gotta go over those figures again. I'm gonna be asking Tom when he comes back. I have a feeling he's gonna lose internet because he had a problem with it earlier, but I want that sheet. That sheet is ideal to even discuss it with my team
Yep.
because it
Yeah.
helps to really see the numbers and what we can plan for and
I had
goals,
it.
right?
I had something like that when I had my Kung Fu school, and it was how many students, what's the average tuition, and what's the average length that we keep them. Because if you can get more people in, charge them more money, and keep them longer, those are the three metrics that matter most, you know, 'cause
I'm
it's,
sure
and
there's
then
probably
you have
other
different ascension.
formats or platforms that have the same thing, which got me curious to research it. But if he can give it to me, crap, dude, I'll take that for free. Hell, it, yeah.
Yeah. Don't research it too much, because you can go down the rabbit hole, and then it's like,
That's
where's the
granted.
efficiency
Yes,
of,
right.
you know, it's the perfect model 2 weeks from now. Screw that. Good enough. Get it in motion. Let's go.
You're being too realistic on
I,
me,
I got
man.
a military background, so like
You know the
it,
truth.
it's cumbersome and messy, but let's move.
Yep.
Like,
John, let us
yeah.
know if Tom is having network issues or if he is going to be able to come back. Because that was a great presentation. He got me challenged, man. That was hell to me. Damn. Harsh, but cool.
He should be coming back. Let's just give him a little bit.
Thank you.
So this is Sean. I got a question for whoever. How are you, what are you guys throwing into your cost of sale? You're saying I don't know, ad spend,
Are you paying
um,
staff? Do you have a VA that you're paying? Are you paying your staff?
got
You know, what's the
yeah,
cost? Like, what's your software costs, right? Are you doing
yep.
follow
Yeah,
up and
that,
it takes so many follow ups?
for me, that's the number one. It's the software cost, but even then, it would probably be 5% because it's all. I usually do an annual one because you get discount, and what I'm paying for the software I need for like mostly new business proposals or like he was saying CRM. It's not that much money because I'm
Negligible.
not at enterprise. It's not. I don't need like the supercharged Salesforce version agent or whatever they have now with AI because I'm not a sales team of like 2,000 people or whatever. So for the solo stuff, it's at least for those type of new business tools, it's usually pretty on the cheap side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cost of sales is essentially any expense that you have
Yep.
that goes into delivering your product or your service
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
from the
send them
capability.
cookies?
It's not just the staffing cost of their actual salaries. No. In our case, it's going to
No.
be a server cost aside from the back ends of the coding for the CRM, ERPs, other directions, even with AI involved. So you understand the difference, John. So everyone's going to have their own approach depending on what
Yep.
they're providing. So those costs
Exactly.
of sales are going to be your budget. Where's your budget sitting at and where are you going?
Yeah, and I guess my other question would really be for Tom. His cost, the calculation of the percentage is based on the MRR that you put up there. I mean the MRR number that was there.
Okay, guys. And Sean, I'm sorry. What was your question there?
The In this calculation, the 5% is 5% of the 3,500, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And
Gotcha. Okay.
let's be sure that we're clear on something, Sean. And I think Joe brought this up, and I apologize, guys. I'm having a little bit of back and forth internet problems, but we'll sort through it. So, Sean, we've got to figure out, just like Joe, this is just a basic representation of the idea today. But we need to actually create your model of like what your business looks like so that this is accurate. What I can tell
Sure.
you for anybody's business is this: it's dumb simple when you look at it. Like, we just need to make the adjustments based off of like legitimately how your business is set up. But these are the normal things that everybody needs to to account for, so that again we understand where we are today, where we want to go, and if you can look at this dashboard at any given time and say, am I on or off track?
Easy.
Remember, the biggest thing for a solo or micropreneur, or we'll even just call it in the startup world, is this. It doesn't matter even with these things. If we put together an idea saying, I want to make $1 million or whatever it is, right? If you don't have enough utilization left, time in your normal schedule to allow for a pipeline here to drive consistency in whatever these numbers are, it is impossible to maintain a sustainable business, nor can
Sure.
you scale it in any which way. So
Thomas,
let's go through this. Sean, may I throw like your 2 cents at these things real fast?
well, I
Like,
didn't know if you were done with Jeremy yet. That's why, yeah.
yeah. Well, Jeremy, like let's go back to him real fast, and then Sean, we'll jump into you. Jeremy, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, your business is like what I call like a consulting dream, right? Why? Because we can do it 3,500. Your profit margins are absolutely stunning. You know what I mean? If you
Yep.
start doing top grading, which we'll teach you how to do in power strategies, that's our last P. But I'll show you how to actually take 3,500 and be able to jump it in 2 ways. Jump this price even higher and start creating other ways to leverage clients that are below your mark, doesn't take up much of your time, and start driving a profit stream to add to it. But in other words, your utilization rate is superb right here, and you're making outstanding money. In fact, if you could, like, let's say, jump this bad boy up to 12, you're making like a $500,000 with no sweat, with plenty of utilization rate. I mean, this is like
Yeah.
stunning model, right?
Well,
But what if
I've got a 30K option for the monthly reoccurring, and then everything goes, 10x, because 30K versus 3,500 is a much different model.
100%. And all I want you to
Yeah.
do is just play with these models. We'll show you how
Yeah.
to actually morph them and like actually see if you have a combined different services, what like a collaborative would look like, right? An aggregate would look like. But ultimately, let's just keep this thing dumb simple. And that is this. I want you guys after this conversation to think long and hard about yourself and going, is this worth the effort? In other words, the way that I have this business set up, is the juice worth the squeeze? If it's not, you guys, you're not working for a large corporation. You guys are artists. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. Well, make sure you paint a picture worth waking up every day. Don't hustle for something that requires a ton of pipeline development, a boatload of client acquisitions, only to make mediocre money. In fact, if you have a model like that, please keep Jeremy's like card handy, because I'm almost guaranteeing a divorce or some type of relationship will be in your future. Working 80 hours a week for chump change is not something that is good for you or anybody else around you, right? So, Sean, let's go to you real fast. And like, let's look
Sure.
at this real fast. And by the way, before we move to Sean, look at this. For Jeremy, if I were like his CEO, in other words, just his partner of accountability, for instance, and being like, Jeremy, you can make $500,000 as long as you stay steady with what you want. Look at how Jeremy needs to stay steady. He needs to create a marketing, business development, and sales like machine with no money, but generates 3 legitimate conversations per week. And he will be able to do this. This is something that I would wake up for every single day, right? But let's just look at this real fast. What if Jeremy was doing this thing and like wanted to do, let's say, he's selling $500 packages, right? Which a lot of people in his space do. They actually sell like plenty of $500 packages. Look at the money right there that he's making. And let's say he wants to make 250,000, and like he would be fine with doing that. Oh man, we need even more than that. Okay, so let's see. He needs, let's say, 42 clients. So let's say that even he goes like, I don't care. I'll do it. I'm going to do the 42 clients. But look at the workload that he needs to put in over here. He not only needs this many clients to make that kind of money, but the pipeline development requires that he has conversations with 12 people in his target audience every single week. Right alone, let's say you do half an hour meetings with these folks, right? You do the math, your utilization is going to be crushed. You will literally be talking to people nonstop in your life. In fact, Jeremy needs to be a complete 100% BD and sales rep for his company. He won't even have time for his clients. Sean, let's do you. But can we get some like basic numbers? They don't even have to be real. Just
and now you got, just even looking at this made me think of like, hold on, I need to switch up some things. Yeah, so net new clients, I'm right now I'm just working to get to 20.
20.
Yeah, but my 1,500, and now I'm like, I need to increase that.
Maybe. Remember, I'm not a high ticket guy. It's not necessary to go high ticket. The key is this. If you're at $1,500, you better master this part of it. See this, Sean? Like if you can
I
do
get
this
it.
at 0.5 or something like that, maybe you'll still be okay. Does that make sense? But you can't
for sure.
1,500 and say, I'm going to spend 4 hours a week with my folks. Your utilization's crushed and you're not going to be able to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
I don't need to do that. Not with my services, because it's all centered around voice agents, like stuff, it's set it and pretty much forget it, unless they need adjustments. Right? So
Let's play around. So remember, the client load here is Sean's client load, not your team's client load or something like that. Because your team will go into this. If you're hiring other people to do work for you or something like that, that's part of your cost of sale, right?
Sure.
Not part of your own utilization. Remember, this Pipeline Masters is for solo and micropreneurs, which means your time right now is the most critical piece of your business.
Sure.
Once you, as the owner of a solo or micropreneur, are tapped out, game's over.
For sure. No, I don't.
So let's go back to this real quick. Sean, out of these 20 people, how much time do you, Sean, have to put to these clients?
That's on a weekly basis?
Yeah, weekly basis, just rough estimate.
Not many hours. I mean, it may be half an hour per, maybe.
Half an hour? All right, let's do 0.5. Okay. Cost of sale, just give a rough estimate. When you sell a client.
Let's go up to 10% on that.
Okay.
Because I use a lot of AI stuff too.
For sure.
That's not too bad.
Okay, now look at Sean's utilization rate right now, 25%. He's still got 75% to grow and scale his company, right? That's great. The cash down here that he's going to make, look at these guys that he's going to make. I can't make a decision for Sean. All I can say is if Sean goes like, that looks good to me, you know what I mean? Then go.
Yeah, for sure.
You got utilization. Everything's good here. Now, Sean, let's look down here at the important part. What is the other side of this look like? Right now, you got 75%. So you got 75% of your time to do what? Figure out how to get five people per week to talk to on 3 different categories: connections, introductions, and referrals. What are connections? They are leads, right? What are introductions, right? They are contextual introductions. Bob meet Sean. Sean, I'm not sure if Bob is the right fit or whatever, but it's contextual. Sean is my go-to for this, right? Or a referral. Nobody needs an explanation for a referral, right? But you're getting 5 a week on this. So if you can be able to do that and stay the course there, this money at the end of the year will be yours, right?
Got it. Yeah, no,
If you wanted to do it in half the time, you need 10 a week.
easy. Like I see it now, it makes it way like it's clear. Very clear.
100%.
Breaks it down
Now,
like, oh, okay, that's what the goal is per week. 5, boom, done.
done. So, what I'd say is this for everybody on this call right now, pipeline is the number one concern for everybody that's running a solo or micro shop. Because if your pipeline sucks, well, then
Yeah.
life sucks, right? Your pipeline's healthy, all things are good, right? Everything before you decide on pipeline has to first initiate with modeling. If you don't know your North Star, then you have no idea what your refrigerator magnet is. What is your refrigerator magnet? Sean, you don't care about anything else, but if like you already make this as your commitment, you should have the number 5 everywhere you can see it. There should be a big number 5 near your computer, one on your refrigerator magnet. Your alarm when you make up in the morning says, "Good morning, Sean. Good luck on 5 today." Right?
Yeah.
Like every single thing that you're doing is literally having 5 conversations surrounding what you do to get around $1,500 acquisitions at that pace. Make sense?
Yep, completely.
Good stuff. Before I move on to the next, does anybody have any questions or concerns with this?
Tom, Joe here.
Yes, Joe.
I did
Yes.
post it in the chat itself. Would you be able to provide this for us to do our own discussions, even with our own teams or ourselves, and then do our speculations as well as review on these figures?
You bet. Yep.
Oh, you're awesome, dude.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not a problem. Now, here's the cool part on this, Joe. This comes in series as well, right? What I mean by that is this. Let's say, let's say Sean like looks at this, right? You have a couple different things that you can do first. Sean, the first step is doing scenario analysis. In other words, I want you to put 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different versions of what this stuff could look like. You know what I mean? Just play around with the numbers. What if I change my package and offered something with like 27.50, and yes, the cost of sale will go up because I have to actually add more to it, but like that's what it's going to look like. You know what I'm saying? And you keep playing with the numbers and going like, wait, look at my scenario analysis, and out of like 10 different scenarios, one will jump out to you, Sean, that goes, yes, yes, that's what I need to have. And then your job is to go, what can I do to build a product or service offering that does this? You know what I mean? And so all you're doing is a copy paste and boom, 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 scenario after scenario after scenario until you find the one that has the lowest load, meaning like the least amount of resistance for pipeline development with the highest return. If you get that, create it yourself. You're the one that's the master of your own company. Nobody else is telling you what to do. It's an open canvas.
For sure.
He did not lose
I think
internet
he's
again.
gone
Oh my
again.
gosh, dude. Seriously. He's on a roll here.
Tom, connect with your phone, I guess. I'll have
Oh, dude,
Bozeman
you're
going.
killing me, dude. You're killing me. Gosh, the internet's so unstable over there. You sure you don't need tech support, Tom? Or internet support? Oh, it's like a hangover from alcohol. I'm glad he said yes, though, to this because I'm glad we're getting a copy. I'd love to have that copy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this and integrate it. Yeah, I'm gonna do something nice with it.
Gotta put it on the
It's a good
fridge.
starting point, I would to say, because I didn't consider this, and yet by instinct, I already thought about it with my business. So John, you nailed this with this guy. Dom is definitely a benefit without question. I'd love to have a one-on-one with that guy and just pick his brain on business models for financial side, because I look more at the technical ends you already know. And the referrals you've been giving me lately have been killing. It's just that when they ask about what I do, this never came up.
Well, you've got to get to when people ask you, what do you do? It's not how do you do it. That wasn't the question.
Right.
It's what's the outcomes for them. And like when they're in heaven, whatever
Yeah.
their heaven is, or your heaven, like where are they at thinking, feeling, and do you hate these things? And here's the things you can slaughter. Like that's all part of that languaging.
Okay.
Tom's
Oh,
back.
oh,
Well,
by the
this is driving me bananas, guys, with the internet, and thank you for holding on. John, am I interrupting here with when did you bring up a topic that I'm interrupting?
I
No,
was
no, no.
only oh,
Like,
okay.
I think we're almost heading at the end of our hour, but maybe
Yeah.
I'd like to just give a moment to take a screenshot of everybody so we can promote this event on LinkedIn.
Of course. Okay, everybody. Cameras ready and poses ready. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna bring this to I'm gonna obviously today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this out to everybody, right? This model. If you want to connect with me to like talk about like how to customize it, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it, right? And the other thing that we really want to go over for today is this. If you do nothing else, if you never attend one of these pipeline master like sessions again, all I want you to do is this: create your own model and figure out through scenario analysis what makes sense for you, and then create that. Hold yourself accountable for the pipeline development piece. And once you have that, you will literally wake up every single day with such clear intention on how to get your business to where you want to go. The next steps of this would be this. Once you're able to achieve those, you will have series that we will set up called top grading. Top grading is part of your power strategies that we'll get to in Pipeline Masters, that says, for instance, if I'm able to accomplish this goal transactionally, how do I go from, let's say, $500,000, if that was your goal, to making it $1 million? And we're going to show you exactly how to take the $500,000, bring your utilization rate back down to allow for the extra growth, and do so in a very concerted, codified, and sequential strategic order. So if you get anything from today, all I would say is this: don't peddle a product or service offering with a business model that leaves you no time to make the money that you really want. Figure out how to create a model that has an easy load with a fantastic rate of return, plus allows you plenty of ability to grow and scale the company once you hit those goals. I really hope that today's session was helpful for everybody. Don't be a stranger to myself or John. We'll have this stuff out to you for a follow-up so that you can have the basic model. And once again, don't hesitate to reach out to me personally if you just want to set up something really quickly to customize it for your business. I'm going to be here for the next 10 to 15 minutes if anybody wants to stay on and ask a couple questions, but I'll just open it up for the last 2 minutes. Does anybody want to bring up any quick questions or concerns to start this process off?
Tom, I would ask you to save the chat so you can, if for any of us who have shared our contact information, to retain it for yourself as well, so we can connect. Because I definitely want a one-on-one with you.
Absolutely.
Recording
stopped.
I had a question, John, and Tom and John. How did we all end up here? I know John invited me. Where did you, what's the connector here that got this group of, 10 people now?
Yeah, good question. John, you want to field that?
Oh, we ran an email marketing campaign. I sent it out to everyone. So that's how we go.
Everyone, who is that?
Everyone
I mean,
on
is
my
it, are these?
all
I
my
got it.
connections.
Okay,
I got it.
yeah.
And just to let you know, like we only did like a very, very select like outreach in the beginning because this is the first Pipeline Masters session. So we appreciate you attending this one, but ultimately, like our goal for John and I is to be very hyper focused on who's coming into Pipeline Masters so that we can grow this thing accordingly and not have a million different types of businesses, sizes, types, and all that kind of stuff, and keep these sessions very relevant to growing everybody's growth.
Makes sense,
So
Tom.
Tom, is the next can you carry us through the progression of what the next few sessions is going to look like or what the intent is?
Absolutely. Right. So, Sean, we're going to go through every single session. We'll be going in chronological order and then in a cycle. So if you think of like MP4 as this, again, like we did modeling today, next one will be on positioning and then power infrastructures, right? And then after that, we're going to be going into your pipeline development and finally power strategies. When we get through that, we'll cycle back and do the next steps of each one, and you will continue to cycle through until your MP4 is 100% ready to rock and roll so that your company has everything it needs for two aspects. Number one, to hit your growth goals, but number two, you are fully leveraged that if you want to, the company can scale and you know exactly how to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
Question, Tom.
I
What's the end goal for this Pipeline Masters? What is the end goal? Even though you've got multiple sessions coming up weekly, I presume. What is the end goal for it? I'm presuming for all of us to achieve and surpass our goals. I'm suspecting from your intention.
Yeah, without a doubt. Here's what I think is going to happen, Joe. We're most likely going to end up breaking this thing out as it continues to grow into smaller groups that allow for like very specific types of companies because I want the information to be 100% relevant to everybody in the room. Does that make sense?
Absolutely more clear, which I was looking for that clarity. You just defined it.
Yes.
Very, very well done.
And then the second thing that I want for this, Joe, is this. Like once you go through the year, like for Pipeline Masters, I want everybody in 12 months, at least 80% or more of the people that attend, as long as you put in the work, to like literally like give a raving review going like, no, my company is like, I mean, we are well on our way and fully prepared to do what we want. At that particular time, you can either decide to stay with us, and I want an advanced class for people that are going from, let's say, the $1 million mark personally to getting to the $5 million or $8 million mark, right? And then progress as we go. Does that make sense?
Because I was even seeing further on this that I don't know why I just thought about it. It reminds me of the 12-step program. When we succeed, we recommend someone else to follow in our footsteps in a sense because you started a model. Well, the model can only continue because of referrals itself and recommendations, which can be in any platform itself. And I think that's also another way of growing too. But it's defined, which you just mentioned very well, Tom. We have to be particular about it, kind of specific.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I mean, normal sessions for this, Joe, just FYI, right? Like in order to spend for high caliber stuff that we're going to be able to drive in Pipeline Masters, it's probably going to be costing most folks between like $5,000 and $10,000 a month to be able to do that. You know what I mean? But
That's
we
being
want to be
modest.
able to give it to $500, $1,000, and literally just set your company up with everything that you want.
I get it.
Right?
I get
Like
it.
that's our goal.
Yeah, and it makes sense itself because some of these values can even go even higher than that. I mean, Tony Robbins sessions, they're insane on cost, but people actually do benefit from his work itself, even though he's been doing it for years. And what you're talking about here, it's probably being modest on the cost.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I am a far cry away from Tony Robbins, but nonetheless, I have plenty to deliver, and John and I have some really good folks to bring into Pipeline Masters for different specialties and everything else.
Right.
But our promise is this: right? Like with Pipeline Masters, you will have everything you need for that MP4 strategy. Every single pillar, you will have a full control and exact marching orders on how to set your business to win. And what is winning? Being part of the 4%, not the 96%. Get well beyond what a lot of these people struggle on and get your company to the point where it can be leveraged for the exact like money, life, and overall impact that you really want.
Thank you so much, Tom. I got to bounce. I think I got another meeting I got to go to, but thank you.
No, thank you. Appreciate you attending.
Hey, Tom, where are you located?
I'm in